You can pick up this Dragon Star set at Big Bad Toy Store with the link in the description. Dragon Ball, Pokemon, Kaiju, and more. It's Steven's Toy Reviews. Hello there, collectors, it is Steven here, and welcome back to another Dragon Ball review. I'm glad to be bringing these back into the rotation. Today we're going to be taking a look at something from Bandai America, and it is going to be from the Dragon Stars lineup. It's actually going to be from a subline, Dragon Stars World, the World Martial Arts Tournament, Tenkaichi Budokai. That's right, we get a diorama in the Dragon Stars lineup, and note that since this is a subline, Dragon Stars World, hopefully this means we will get more in the future, but today we're talking about the famous World Martial Arts Tournament stage where we've seen plenty of awesome battles go down, whether it's going to be Jackie Chun showing up his students, Goku versus Ma Jr., or Goku versus Majin Vegeta. You can recreate some pretty awesome scenes with this stage, but the big question is, it's $30 and we're worried about size and quality. So is this going to be worth the purchase? Well, let's take a look to see whether or not this tournament stage is worth adding into your collection. This section of the video is just going to go over the box and unboxing and assembly here, so this way you can get an idea of how to put this together if you're having some difficulty. The instructions are rather straightforward. I stumbled around a little bit myself just because some parts I couldn't quite tell if it was up or down or left or right, but once you're able to figure that all out, you're pretty much good to go. The box is actually rather impressive. It's pretty sturdy cardboard, and some of the silver on it is actually embossed, so if you're looking for something that's of quality, then they actually went the extra mile here with this box. Otherwise, it's pretty straightforward. On the back, we just have some promotional shots, Piccolo getting smashed into the stage, pretty awesome, and then we have a nice lineup shot of almost, I believe, all of the Dragon Stars figures to date. I'm going to be honest, I don't really collect this line. I've picked up a few releases here and there, so I don't know what's missing, if any at all. Anyway, enough going over the box. Once we go ahead and open it up, we see everything is pretty much in baggies. And once we go ahead and just, tear everything open, my knife's kind of dull. I do need to sharpen it. Pretty bad on that. Assembly, you can follow me bumbling about here. You can just follow the instructions. Anyway, for those of you who like to see that sort of thing, I'll go ahead and let the music play. And I will catch you on the flip side when we take a look at the actual stage. Now that we have the stage set up, let's actually take a look at how this puppy looks, and it's actually pretty good in regards to looks. There's not a whole lot they really could have changed, I feel, except for maybe adding in a wash or some dry brushing here and there to bring out the details a bit more, but this is going to be $30, so that really isn't that bad by any stretch of the imagination. I will say that the plastic does feel, I hate to use this word, but it does feel a little bit cheap. I don't really feel like it is super sturdy, high quality, but I will say that I don't think that this is necessarily going to break. When you get this in hand, you'll know exactly what kind of plastic I'm talking about here. But just as a simple display piece, this is more than fine. We do have a whole bunch of parts that we do have to assemble, and some of the different parts, like we have the different faces and we have the different emblems, those are actually going to be made of a softer plastic, and that's good because those are the ones that are sticking out in case this accidentally bumps into something. Nothing's going to break. It's actually just going to fall off first and foremost, which is always good to see. We do have decals for the different Japanese writing on there, which looks good. It's applied neatly. There are no issues there. Very minimal paint application because actually most of this is already pre-snapped together. You just have to go the extra mile to get it all assembled. And for that, it looks just fine. There are no issues with that. Very good. And yeah, realistically speaking, there really aren't that many issues for what we get here. We do have the shingling, which I think actually has some pretty nice sculpted details. We do have some cracks in the stage, which look fantastic in and of themselves. And we do get a little bit of a bonus feature here. We do get some battle damage for the arena. So we do have the big billboard sign that is actually blocking one of the statues, symbols, faces there, yeah, but that is actually on a peg, so that does swivel around, so you can cause a little bit of havoc there if you should so wish. And on top of that, we do have one of the walls, which has a breakaway feature. Now, in the promotional pictures, they do kind of imply that it's super easy to push and break and everything's hunky-dory there, but it's actually pretty sturdy, so do keep that in mind. Now, one of the other cool things is that we do have an alternate piece for the center of the stage. So once you have your character smash into the wall and you carefully disassemble it, because if you give it a whole bunch of force like I did here and you put all of the debris over on top of the character because you don't want it to break, you can pop out the middle piece and you can just put in a little crater piece, which actually does look pretty dang cool. Now, one of the things I would advocate for to accentuate this display is to use a Tamashii impact piece, which would really make this crater look much better. But anyway, the sculpted detail for that, it actually does look pretty fine. We do have a couple of little ceramic tiles that are sticking out. We have little debris scattered about. So overall, this does look very good. At the end of the day, when it comes down to looks, this is very simple, but at the same time, there's a lot going on here that some of that mist detail isn't really all that much missed. Now, something you saw in the opening shot, we had a little bit of a crowd there watching Goku and Krillin go at it, so let's take a look at the space between that wall and the actual backstage area where the fighters would be. Unfortunately, we don't really have a whole lot of space there. I kind of fudged it here a little bit. You can see that Master Roshi is actually kind of stuck on the wall and he's floating a little bit. So you're not going to have a huge area for a little crowd to assemble here, but you can get some folks to stand behind there and spectate, which is always a good thing to have because, hey, it's a martial arts tournament. We need people to look on at the fighters. Now, let's get a better idea for sizing here. First and foremost, I mentioned this before, I'm not really a big Dragon Stars collector, so I can't really show you any here alongside these, but Dragon Stars are on average about the same size as SH Figuarts and some other figures, so here's just a little hodgepodge of releases, and then we have some Goku figures in the SH Figuarts line, and I think this should give you a general sizing idea for how big this tournament display stage will be. Something to keep in mind, this will not fit in a Ditolf shelf. You can put it on top, but you can't put it inside the actual cabinet itself. So, buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. For 30 or so bucks, you can't go wrong. We pretty much get it all here. The only thing that we would really be missing is the overall size that the World Martial Arts Tournament stage has, when we think back to Goku versus Majin Vegeta. But otherwise, hey, for everything that we have in the rest of the series, going back to Dragon Ball, this works just fine. I do think that if they were to make a bigger deluxe stage, that would be very cool and would give us a bit more breathing room for our display options. But for sort of a one-off display on your shelf, that unfortunately won't be a very popular IKEA display cabinet, well, you're going to be able to do that just fine. Again, if we could get a bigger release, I'd be on board, but for what we have here, it is absolutely worth the purchase. If you like what you see, hey, this is exactly what you're going to be getting. No surprises here. Consider picking it up today, and maybe we'll get more stuff down the line. I'm looking at you, Planet Namek Diorama Scene. Well, collectors, that brings us to the end of the video today, and I just wanted to take a second to thank you so much for watching. Now, you've heard a lot from me. I'd like to hear a little bit from you. Drop in the comments down below whether or not you liked it, you hated it, or maybe you were somewhere in between. I also want to take an extra second here for a nice, humongous thank you to all the patrons for SDR over the last month who have really helped the channel grow into what it can be today. So to all of you, 2 big thumbs up. Thank you very much. And now the end card should be popping up, which will give you a few clickable links, like maybe to subscribe or head on over to my Patreon, or some short URLs like to my social media or to my Teespring store. There's also a video I hand selected for you, so if you want to watch another STR video, I hand selected some good content for you to watch, so definitely check out that video. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.